Well, hello and welcome to another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop. I'm taking up an invitation that I've had for a long time, and at the risk of offending somebody, I decided it was time to graciously accept the wonderful invitation. I'm at the Bentley factory at Crewe in Cheshire, not far from my workshop. I've had a relationship with the Bentley factory for over 40 years, actually. I've done business with them. In fact, in the 1990s, I was the only person in the factory and dealer network worldwide outside that network to do warranty work on the factory's behalf on new cars. And that was an arrangement I had with the service department, which actually closed a lot of years ago. But I'm here this morning at the invitation of Dr. Matthais Rabe, a member of the board here, and he has invited me and a couple of people over to the factory. As I say, I've been here many times before, but the factory has changed beyond all recognition. Actually, it really has. I couldn't actually find my way around. I'm delighted to be here. This is an absolute honour to have this visit. Here we are at the Bentley factory in Crewe. Hello.
Nice to meet you, Ian. My name is Jonathan O'Driscoll. I'm a customer host here at Bentley Motors. We have lots of visitors, from all four corners of the world. We have dignitaries, heads of stakes. We also have royalty. And this little book I'm going to show you in a minute will emphasise this.
Oh.
So please, if you follow me, what we have here now is the Bentley Visitors Book. When we turn the actual pages a little bit more, you can see King George.
Oh.
King George came to the factory, the Queen Mum, 29th of the 8th, 1940, which is unbelievable. Every time I open this book and I touch the pages, I actually get a little sense of pride. Yes. And I also get like hairs standing on my arms and around me thinking, wow, I'm actually touching a lot of history.
Well, that would have been August 1940.
Yes.
It would have been right in the middle of the Battle of Britain.
Oh, okay. Forgive me, I'm not up to date.
No, it's all right. I'm a bit of a nerd with
this. Yes, that's interesting. And there it is, Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. So on July the 24th in 1987, Her Majesty came to the factory and did a royal visit. And again, I'm very patriotic, very proud to see this signature in there.
Yes.
And there she is signing the book right there. And that again is part of our history.
That's incredible.
I'm very, very proud to share with you.
And then, of course, Bentley built the royal car, didn't they? I think
it's either
one or two of them.
Yes, we have two of the royal cars, and I believe, and I'm sure John and Mike can give you better information because they're part of the heritage team. But I am led to believe that the factory is the only place that will service and do any kind of modifications to any of the royal carriages. It's my friend and colleague.
Hello. Yes.
David.
You've got even longer hair than me.
Well, it's a good look, innit? It's a good look. We're rocking it, aren't we?
We are, yes. I put the grey one on this morning.
I don't even look in the mirror anymore, right? I'm at that age.
I've been a painter since I was 16 years old, 59 now. And when I sit in my office and look out of the window, it's absolutely no different than when I was 16 years old. It is the most traditional way of painting a car you will ever come across. We hand prepare everything. The car is sanded by hand, it is cleaned, masked, painted by hand and polished by hand. The most automated thing you will see, you might hear in the background when we go in, is a spinning polishing mop. So everything is done in the most traditional way. Typically we paint about 260 cars a week at Bentley. 240 will be painted in the auto shop where they're painted by a robot. And having said that, it makes it sound like a Volkswagen, Ford, automated, no one touches the car. It's far from that. Because of the type of colours that we spray and the level of detail we're working to, there's an awful lot of hand intervention, an awful lot of people work in that automated shop. However, this is absolutely the polar opposite of that. And the reason for that is mainly that the type of colours that we do are something that you couldn't automate. You just couldn't. It's things like the pearlescence, the jewel tones, the satin finishes, some of the more quirky colours that you'll see. We've got quite a good example of 2 or 3 at the moment in there. So it tends to be the one-offs and the special colours really that we're doing here. We also do quite a lot of graphic work and some of if you've seen the fades where the car changes from one colour to another, they were done in here. That's something we innovated in this area. So yeah, it's just a very traditional way of doing a car. By far the best thing is that I still, after all these years, walk into the spray booth and look at a car that we've just painted, and you look at the finish, and they're fantastic painters, they do a brilliant job. And 6 hours ago, that was liquid in a tin on a bench, and the only thing that's turned it from that to that is the skill of the guy, and that's what we pride ourselves on. It's something you get very proud of, to the extent that I'm a manager at Bentley. If I'm on holiday somewhere and someone says, what do you do for a living? I still say I'm a panel beater and painter first, and then I say I'm a manager afterwards, because it just gets in your blood. It's a great job in the sense, this is a true story. I've read a book and rewired my own house, and I had it all checked by an electrician, it was fine. And I've read a book and I have installed my own central heating. But you can't read a book and spray a car, and that's what we love about it. It is a true craft in that sense, in the sense that it takes years to learn. We've got apprentices now in the 20s. I had a guy retire at Christmas who was 64, Simon. Yeah. And we had a sit down and a chat, as you do with when someone retires, and he said, I was still learning. In the last few months. He said, you never stop learning after all those years, because technology changes and the materials change and the equipment changes, and you never stop learning. And I will say, in the time that I've been painting, it's probably important to say that paint technology has moved on massively in that time, and the spray guns are significantly better than the ones I used to use, but the basic principles are absolutely the same. So when we go in, you'll see explain what we do, all the types of things we do, but we also do things where it's us kind of pushing the boundaries of what you can do with paint, so testing different things. And in some cases, the business has looked at those things and gone, oh, we really like those, we could offer those to customers. And in some cases, maybe not quite ready for it yet. So some of the things you won't be able to film because they are in the development stages, so we'll point those out to you, but you're welcome to see them, obviously, and you might look what the future might bring. But I think other than that, I think that's about it. Jonathan, isn't it?
I'd say so.
There's a couple of people a couple of names you may remember. I don't know whether they were before your time. Jim Curry?
Yes, I remember Jim Curry. He was my boss when I worked here in the paint, yeah.
And Pete Aston?
Don't remember Pete Aston, but definitely remember Jim Curry.
Pete Aston was the production director.
Ah, right.
But Jim Curry, yeah, he used to repair my clocks for me, because when he retired, he went into clock refurbishment.
That's a skill and a half, isn't it?
But Jim, I thought you might know.
I repair vintage toys, and I'll have a go at anything, but I will never ever go at a clock. A clock always had they scare me to death. A clock does.
It's still working.
Oh,
but yeah, he was responsible for paint here. Obviously.
Yes, he was. When I worked in paint on the shop floor, because I worked here years and years ago when I was 20 odd, and then went back into the motor trade, and then came back as a manager. But when I worked on the shop floor when I was 20 odd, Jim was my manager. Yeah, tall, greyish hair, and
very nice,
slender, very slender.
Very unassuming.
Yes, very, very, nice guy. And this is Celeste Pearl, and Celeste Pearl is a lady came in years ago with a Tiffany jewellery box and said, could you match the colour to that Tiffany jewellery box? And that's what we did, and the lady's name was Celeste, so that's why it's called Celeste Pearl now. But over the years we've matched nail varnish, lipstick, a post-it note, a guitar.
Really?
There's a colour on the wall we'll see shortly where a chap came in with a carrier bag with a food mixer in a carrier bag, and we matched it to his food mixer. Yeah, I only just learned it was a Smeg food mixer, and I only learned it a few weeks ago. That story sounds quite, in isolation, but he was the owner of Smeg, so we wanted it to match them. And it kind of makes more sense now, doesn't it? What always shocks customers, there is a premium to buying a satin car. But if you understand that our starting point for a satin car is a perfectly good gloss painted car, a car that would be good enough to give to a customer with wheels, engine, interior, and hand to a customer, and the first thing we do is sand every square inch of it down back to dull again to apply the satin lacquer. It is technically one of the most difficult finishes to apply, mainly because think in these terms, you will always get a speck of dirt when you're spraying paint, because it's a big wet surface. When a speck of dirt lands in a gloss car, you get a very fine abrasive, and you rub it down and you polish it, you'd never know it was there, it completely disappears. If you get one speck of dirt in a satin car, you can't rub it down and polish it because it won't be satin anymore. The only fix is to sand that panel and do it all again. So now start to think of the surface area of a Bentley, and you can't get a speck of dirt in it anywhere, is a challenge, a real challenge. but we do 10 a week and they seem to go well. So this is orange flame that's available in both gloss and satin. Your perception might be that this being polished and highly lacquered would be silky smooth to the touch, and this less so because it's satin and it's dull. But in actual fact, the idea behind this panel, and please do this, you can touch any of these panels, if you put your hand on the panel there and press down quite hard and slide your fingers down, you'll find it grips quite a lot on the gloss. When you hit the satin, it just slides off. It's the opposite of what you might think. And we had a customer about 3 months ago say something which we shamelessly plagiarised ever since, and that is, he was a motorsport fan, and he said that's why they're starting to paint Formula 1 cars satin now, because there's a logic that slides through the air more so than a gloss car would, and it's probably 0.00001 of a second, isn't it? But at that level, I'm guessing it all matters. But if you feel the panel, it does kind of make sense.
I've got to try it now. Yeah.
Yeah, your hand speeds up, doesn't it? On a dual tone, so we do the two-tone cars in here. Most manufacturers, when you have two colours joining together, you will always feel a join between the two colours, which you can on this top line. But the Bentley way is we apply lots of additional lacquer in that area, then carefully hand, sand and polish. And if you feel the difference between that one and that one, there's no visible you can feel a join, and you can't feel a join.
Yeah, that's just a build-up of lacquer.
Putting extra lacquer on to bury them two edges, and then it's about trying to find a flat surface between those two without breaking through the lacquer.
How many coats would you put on?
We only put 2 coats of lacquer on, and 2 coats of lacquer probably going back is the equivalent of putting 4 on years ago, because the material is so much more high solids now, and the guns, there's a thing called transfer efficiency, and in simple terms what it means, if you put a litre of paint in your gun and you spray, how much of that litre goes on the car and how much of the litre goes into the air, and so the better your transfer efficiency, the more of that litre goes on, and guns have improved enormously in transfer efficiency, so more of the paint goes onto the car and less goes into the atmosphere now. This is inspired by the Bentley blower, so this is all sprayed on. Again, it's completely smooth, and we wanted a spray Union Jack but prematurely aged it, so we've aged it to look like it's been on a car for years and starting to wear away, and then we've lacquered over the top. And then I'm just going to put my torch on, I'm not being rude, going on my phone to show you. This is my personal favourite. If this was too much, too bold, would you want something more subtle? And this is what we came up with. If you look at that one, that only really appears in the sun. So outside in certain lights, you couldn't see it at all. And then you just catch it right in the light and it just appears. And that was done as a test panel, just doesn't, what can we do? But a customer has ordered that Union Jack, but in that effect on his green SUV, Bentayga. So it's a lovely effect.
Fantastic, that.
And then I'll keep my torch on, because we always use this board to show customers the importance of choosing your colours under different lights, because it changes the colour so much. If you look, and this is a good example, fuchsia pearlescent, well, fuchsia is a pink flower and that's white, so that doesn't make any sense, but when you put the light on, can you see how it flips to a pink pearlescent? When you put the sun on it,
it's got a greeny tint, yellowy greeny tint,
and lots of pearl in there. But our latest innovation is this one, and this is ground glass.
This is a very old Bentley colour name, St James's Red.
Yeah.
That's been around for 40 years.
Yeah, it has.
St James's Red.
And we probably do about 8 to 10 of those a year, pinks, varying pinks. And you can see the satins, how they've started to increase in popularity, all the different satin colours now. The most challenging paintwork we do by far is the fade. It's called the Ombre collection. When we launched it, it was about, we were challenged to do something special for Pebble Beach, and we came up with 3 cars in 3 different colours. I've got some pictures on the end there to show you. But since then it's expanded. I think we're talking 7 or 8 different ombres now that you can have, and here's an example of the colours. So all these cars start one colour and fade to another colour. Now, there are manufacturers doing a similar thing where the front and the back, but what they tend to do is get 2 colours and just blend one into the other just by painting one into the other. but we do it differently. The painter starts with one colour and he hand tints the paint closer and closer and closer and closer towards the front colour, so hopefully you get a far more of a seamless blend as opposed to what you get on what other manufacturers are doing. It's very difficult. If you look at the door in the background, that one fades from orange flame on the right to sunburst gold on the left. It's almost seamless. You cannot see a point where it changes from one to the other.
So a lot of investment down here in the Zun cutting machines. When I first came, many moons ago again, it used to be by hand, or it used to be very noisy, inaccurate machines called Gerbers. When I say inaccurate, it means that there was a lot more waste back then.
Right.
Whereas we're now, and I'll show you in a moment, it's less waste.
Right. And you are using embossed grain leather, are you?
We're not using embossed leather, we're using natural bull hides.
Really?
Natural bull hides.
Here I do inspection for all the effect on the leather, like these ones here. We have box mark as well.
This is a big hide, isn't it?
Yes, and
it's huge.
It's in good condition because I can see it doesn't have too much effect. What is the process? This is made big because they put in the container, and the container for that all the process to take the hair. After the hair, the leather is in grey condition. Then after they go to do the process with the collars, and when they have the collars, they put one tray, is a sieve tray with some tags in the side. This is why it stretch a little bit.
Skiving.
Yes. They do the skive, like they take 2 lanes, so. But they stretch as well
right.
for to dry the leather.
Yes.
Where do we have the bags?
So what thickness does this end up at? About 1 millimetre? Less?
Depend, because when they go to the skive, they have the measurement.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's very scientifically done then?
Yeah. All that. This is a stretch mark. Stretch mark. All these I need to avoid. Here. Here is the neck. In this position, here is the neck. Sometimes we have some lines from the neck. I don't know you. Yeah. Like here, this is all the bugs can set.
Right.
Then I need to avoid this as well.
Oh, another big chunk out.
Yeah.
So, Iain, what happens? You've seen the inspection. Now we throw all the leather onto the machine, and then the machine takes a photograph. Jared then, on the machine, he will type into the computer what patterns he needs for the actual car.
Oh, seriously?
So if you work out now, the computer and camera, they talk to each other and they work out the usage. On average, we only use 70% of each hide. 30% would be scrap, but it's not scrap. We actually recycle it. We do sell it to a company in the UK where it's recycled again. Nothing is wasted within this leather. Again, that's that sustainable message. So a Continental GTC would use 6 or 7, through to a Bentayga, which could use anything up to 14 hides for an extended wheelbase, depending on what you have inside the car.
Interesting, because a silver shadow or a spirit, I'm going back to my time now, was 11, round about 11.
Wow. Well, I remember when I worked on the Onage, Mulsanne, Brooklands, Azures, we used up to 16 of these hides back then.
Really?
Yeah, we did. 16 hides, especially on the extended wheelbases. Where we are now then, Iain, you can see this is the auto sew I mentioned. So the diamond quilting, straight fluting, any other patterns you wish to have, all around this area. My friend and colleague now, Aggie, is going to set up the machine here, and you can see what we got here. We have a headrest. We have a headrest. So on the Continental GT, GTC and Flying Spur, you can have our wings, our logo on the headrest. And if you come around this side, you can see on the computer, Aggie now is setting everything up. She'll press all the digits that she needs to, the program. So you have the Speed, Azure.
Oh, I see.
You have Mulliner, all the different, whichever model you have. And then away we go. And then there's 4,771 stitches in 6 minutes. Many years ago, a lot of the headrests, they were what we call embossed. So there was none of this technology.
Yeah.
But as the years have come forward, you see the different technology now. There's a finished one, like Blue Peter, one we made earlier.
Not out of a piece of sticky wrap plastic and a
correct, absolutely. But did you know, there's a question for you here, did you know our logo is asymmetric?
No, I did not know.
Oh, all this knowledge you have as well. Ian, I've caught you. You've done it. So, can I just have a quick look again? So, if you look very closely, okay, it's not symmetric, it's asymmetric. There is 10 feathers on the left, and there's 11 feathers on the right. Now, I will point out to you, you're one of 99% of all the visitors I take around the factory that did not know this, and they've owned 1, 2, 3, 20 Bentleys. They did not know this. The reason for this is because when we started 106 years ago, we were symmetric, you know, 13 and 13, 12 and 12, 10 and 10. For Walter Owen Bentley, he found out after we won Le Mans in 1924, there was other brands, coach builders, were forging our logo. So Walter Owen, with the help of a great car designer, Mr. Gordon Crosby, they came up with an idea, very slightly, of 10 and 11 feathers to prove who drives a true Bentley. How clever is that? That was taken away though when we were purchased by Rolls-Royce. We did go back to obviously, you know, symmetric, but Volkswagen came in, they looked at our history, and then we went back to 10 and 11 feathers.
That's a wonderful story.
So that's great. But I will point out as well, ladies and gents, on these machines, over the years I've worked here, yes, we do see the logo, but I've seen flags of nations, family crests, I've seen a portrait of a gentleman's face. Again, it's all culture, but the one thing I'll always share with everyone that I did see nearly 20 years ago is I was working on a seat that on the headrest, these machines put a lady's name on. It said Glenda. And on the passenger headrest, I saw the word boyfriend. I saw Glenda and boyfriend 20 years ago. And again, you know, with Mulliner, we can pretty much do anything within legal, certification, law, we can do this. You can see we're now amongst wonderful craftsmanship with the lovely ladies and gentlemen here who sew all our parts together. So this is one of our experienced, and I love to say, I would like to say one of our long-serving colleagues.
You're choosing your words carefully.
I am choosing them very carefully, very carefully. Long-serving as well.
This is where I say, you don't look old enough.
Sharon has obviously been sewing for many years now. Sharon is one of the trainers as well. So this can't stop, we carry on evolving. Sharon does actually train all our apprentices. And new starter Sharon as well, you train. So what generally happens now down this line, this is the Continental line, GT, GTC and the Flying Spur. You have the seats and squabs, and you also have the door pads.
Right.
So it will start on the very first process here. Sew the small parts into the boxes, through to Sharon. Sharon sews her part on, back into the boxes, to the next part, to the next part. It's like one big conveyor belt.
Right.
It's its own little mini production line. Now, the one thing I always point out, especially with Sharon's here, because obviously Sharon has been doing this for many years with all our new starters, apprentices again, and also lots of films. The one thing I say is, no computers, no guides, everything is done by the eye. That's where the skills come in. So we trim everything on a bench. You see the heat guns we use? The heat guns, they are for heat activated glue. So the first thing that happens is we spray the leather and the part with a glue, but it's heat activated. It won't stick until you place the heat gun onto it, then it becomes tackified. And then as you can see now, Ralph, he's going around each part very carefully. So do all the other colleagues, to create our interior of our wonderful cars. And that's one thing I'm very proud of as well. Again, myself, I started in this department, but like most departments around the factory, you got paint, wood, leather and assembly. its attention to detail.
That's amazing. Heat activated glue. Isn't that wonderful? Oh,
Where we are now then, Ian. So start of production for the Continental GT, GTC and Flying Spur. Now how it all starts is like this. If you look above you there, you can see on the cradle there's a Flying Spur that's come now from the PBS, which is Paint Body Stores.
okay.
The cradle has lifted up the body. It will take you to the start of this production line. This line itself has 68 different stations. And from start right the way around, fully assembled by hand, to the very end, driving off the line, it will take approximately 2.5 days. If we concentrate very briefly on the television screen, top left-hand corner for today, the target is we want 37 cars. Actually, so far we've done 16. The forecast is we're going to do 31 cars today. Top right-hand corner, you can see the operational production rate at the moment is 84%. That's because the line has stopped 59 times today. Please don't be alarmed. Quality first, not quantity.
Right.
So the line could have stopped today from anything from quality, part shortage, or people. We will stop that line. We are running today at a takt time of 11.3 seconds. So 11 minutes, 3 seconds. So that means when the first car drops onto the line there on station 1, it has 11.3 seconds to move into station number 2. And there's 68 different stations on this production line. Now, the one thing I'll say to you, the first thing that happens on our production line here is we strip the car down. We strip it down just to make it easy to work in and around the car.
Oh, I see.
The interesting part about this is different stations will have anything from 1 colleague to 5-6 colleagues around one station, depending on what needs fitting into the car. Like here now, this station, if you can see the wiring on the floor there, that's because this is where we do wiring or loom fit. How it started, behind us in these ovens now, okay, these are ovens. All our wiring harnesses and looms go in the ovens for approximately 45 minutes. When they come out, they're hot, they're warm, they're flexible, which makes it easier to work or manipulate 9.5 miles of wiring in one car. On average, they say every fibre together, it's about 9.5 miles. And then obviously from there, it carries on and on and on. As we walk down this part of the production line here, this is basically preparation of the car, ready for the big components like the dashboard, the engine marriage, the interior seats, front and rear, and steering wheel. I'd like to walk you down and let's have a look at the car taking shape. So as we walk down the line now, you can see the first thing on the left is sound deafening. So all the sound deafening here for the car, the materials, we have heat shields, we have floor paneling. So it's all about preparation of the car. And anything you see now walking round this production facility with a yellow cage, that would be some shape or form of an airbag. So this is obviously for safety for ourselves, the colleagues, and for the part and the cars themselves.
Right.
Right, we're standing on, let's go on to the path. Sorry, sir. So we'll carry on walking down the production line. Now, all the logistics trucks, all going around the factory. So again, we work on that lean management. So everything is delivered just in time. Logistically, on occasions, you'll see the colleagues going around the factory scanning the barcodes. And that's because that will tell them, the logistic department, that we have only 1 box left. So then, a certain time later, it's delivered just in time before the parts have run out. Again, we don't hold stock.
Right.
So as we're coming down the production line now, a very important part of the car, which is your unit dashboard. So here, this dashboard here is all fully assembled by hand. When it's finished and been assembled, we bring it to the side of the line, and then one of the colleagues here, Leighton, he will actually switch the machine on here and he will lift it up. This is not a robot. This Endeavour machine is basically, takes the weight. I like to say it's an assistant tooling aid.
Right.
It does not fit that dashboard. What we do is we do the fitting. So we lift it up like this and we manipulate it into the car. And there is obviously, you know, calibration in there. There's 2 dating points either side of the car where we know that dashboard has been centralized and it goes into position. Again, all about innovation. I remember many years ago, we'd be there with chains, you know, lifting the engine marriage especially.
Right.
It's all changed now. This is the actual assembly for unit dashboard. So it all starts from a skeleton aluminium frame. We place the aluminium frame onto the jig here, and if you're okay, it's on lunchtime. So onto the jig, and then through 6-7 different processes, it might even be 5 or 6 nowadays, through to the computer at the very end when it's been fully built. We plug into the computer, and what we do here, again, our biggest thing is quality. We make sure every single function is working before we fit the dash into the car.
Yeah.
And you can see all the different arrays, and this gives you an idea of how individualized our cars are. I mean, there's a fact out there, and I wouldn't want to give you an actual figure because I don't know if it's a true fact, but I've been taught and told over the years the chance of you and I speccing exactly the same car is over 1,000,000 to 1 chance.
I can believe
and
it.
I think you can see that just with 5 different
That's a bit of an
colours
eyeful, isn't it?
That is, I'm going to say that is a Mulliner. I'm going to go with Mulliner because I can see the Klein blue leather there, and that is one of the Mulliner colours. Machined aluminium, again, very different, and you can see the light blue, and you can see it looks like what we call Brunel, which is a very petrol-y blue. That is definitely, I'm going to put my head on the line and say that is a Mulliner car. But down this part of the line, so the new V8 hybrid battery. Okay, so
I noticed the orange loom there.
Correct.
Electric.
On this line, we are only producing the hybrid, so GT, GTC, and the Flying Spur is a V8 hybrid now. So you see the new hybrid battery there. It's placed underneath the boot. You've got the orange cable in, electrical cable, and then you've got the fuel lines, brake lines, and the fuel tank. It's all preparation underneath the car, ready for the engine to marry that car. And may I show you here, okay, this is that new V8 hybrid engine I was telling you about, 4 litre.
Size of the brake disc.
So these are the largest non-ceramic brake discs. So we have 420 diameter, 38mm thickness. That here, this brake caliper, is what we call a 10-pot piston caliper. The average car, I'm led to believe, you know, I don't know every model out there, but I'm led to believe the average car has 4 to 6
That's right.
pistons. We have 10, because this engine now, get ready for this, Ian, this engine is 771 brake horsepower, or 782 PS. It's 1,000 Newton meters of torque. It's 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, and its top speed is 208 miles an hour. For any European viewers, I will point out it's 335 kilometers an hour, and 0 to 100, 3.1.
Right.
And a 782 PS.
This is not a hybrid powertrain then? This is conventional?
This is conventional with hybrid power in there. So we do have hybrid in here as well.
Really?
This is not.
The automatic transmission is huge.
Yeah, it's massive, ZF.
Yeah.
And you can see there.
Yeah. Petrol hybrid, EV.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's it, exactly.
So the motor's built into here somewhere.
So we get, again, I don't know all my dynamics of how it works. I'm not the engineering side of the business, but I know about the electric motors, obviously through to the actual battery itself, and all the dynamics then are transferred to the car. What happens now then, Ian, here, we lift the engine onto this engine bed here. We call it the engine bed. So the colleagues then, the engine is fitted, we lift up the rear axle, prop shaft, exhaust system. That's the powertrain. That table will then come forward, and then it comes sideways, and it comes into this position. When the body of the car comes above, we press all 4 buttons either side, marriage. Yeah. That's how it takes place. So from the tool in here, we'll press it, up it will come, into position, and then on a Continental GT, GTC and a Flying Spur, 36 bolts, DC tooling, which is digital calibrated, will be pinned into position to hold that powertrain to the body of the car.
Very interesting.
DC tooling is very important because it's critical. So many years ago, you know, the old torque wrenches, you know, you think, oh, have I over-tightened, under-tightened? There's none of that here because it's all computerized, DC, digital calibration. So now we're going to walk between both production lines because, believe it or not, we have two. We have the one I've been talking about, Continental and Flying Spur, and we have now Bentayga. On this Bentayga 9, we have in the region of 47 stations. It's pretty much a mirror image of how we build all cars, except for on the Bentayga, it's a slightly slower, takt time, slower. It's in the region of, we'll see it down here now on the screens, it's in the region of 28 minutes. Right. But I'll tell you
Why is that? Because it's a bigger car, simple as that?
No, to be quite honest, it's on build plan. So it depends what we want to build that week or that day. So we can slow or speed up these lines at any time we wish. It depends on our little build plans. I mean, look at this though, look at this. You know, to look at every single detail of how we assemble and build the cars. So you can see now the line has now started.
Fantastic.
Superb, isn't it?
Great.
Superb what goes into our cars. I mean, it's things like this. You know, that is your headlining, roofline, or whatever you want to call it, for your Bentayga. And that is fully assembled and made by hand in 36 minutes.
Really?
36 minutes. Where we are now, the end of the production line. So you've seen how we assemble all our cars. Now, the one thing that happens from this point onwards is all the quality and testing of the car.
Okay.
So on average, now we go under the lights, we do visual checks, interior, exterior, with a few electrical checks there. If we find any defects or any problems, we rectify them at the side here. Now, every single car goes on a dynamic test drive. So on average, every car goes on about 10 miles road test. They go on to shake rigs, they go on to rolling roads, you know, bedding the brakes in, calibration of the wheels. Every single component is calibrated as in the dynamic, so you got the heads-up display, your adaptive cruise control, night vision, all that's calibrated.
Right.
When the car has gone through all them different quality checks, the car then goes into something very, very unique, Monsoon, which is a leak test. 200 gallons of water is basically dropped onto the car from all angles. We're just checking for old-fashioned leaks. We go through paint inspections, we check in any kind of paint defects, and then the car will go into a brand new area, a new investment on site called ECVF, which is Excellence Centre for Vehicle Finish. Now in there, we go through the first, or last, whatever way you want to put it, electrical checks, and then the car goes through pre-valet inspection, valet inspection, and sold. Sold means that the retailer then will get notification that the car is now finished and it's ready to leave the factory. But before it leaves the factory, we take 17 high-resolution photographs of the car from all angles, and also we wrap the car.
Right.
So we don't put a bow in it, we just wrap it, and again that's for protection before it goes into our bonded area where the cars are driven then onto the transporters and delivered all around the world. How would you find that, Ian?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Thank you
Enjoy
very
it?
much.
Absolute pleasure. Good stuff, thank you.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to subscribe and like. It is important and it does help the channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. We'll be back with something else very soon.